Alice, are you ready to share your case
I
study?
think so.
Yeah.
Look how bad my screen is. It's pink on my
Oh, it's
screen.
different color.
It's orange on yours. My Mac screen is on its last leg. I don't know why I keep still using it. It's actually hard to see, but I also, this screen that appears perfect. So I'm ready to do the case study. And what I'd like to talk about is like this, and some of you were probably there. I did the Discipline Secrets class a few weeks ago. And what it was is a course that, and I'm going to share all this, and I think you can take away different things from it on perhaps how to, structure it, to how to charge for your workbooks, or just how to create a class. You'll find probably lots of little different things that will speak to you no matter how you're trying to work on your own workbooks. So what I did was create a class for people to dig deep into their mindset blocks around being disciplined and working on their business consistently. And I have to say, it's not a very sexy topic and even a hard sell, because most people just want to know how to get traffic and customers and become a billionaire with AI tools. But it was a topic that I thought was important. And it actually is a bigger part of a membership that I have. I have a nice group of people, you might be in that group, who already paid to access my self-promotion training. So we meet every once in a while and we do these classes. So this was already given to them. So I've already been paid for these members and I was doing this class, but I thought, hey, I would love to have more people there. I would also be happy to receive some more money for my work. So I did it and I set it up as an experiment this time as a class for $1, right? So they can attend and live. And if they wanted recordings and transcripts like my other students get, they would pay $27 is what I decided to charge on this one, because I knew it was a little bit of a harder sell than a super sexy make money topic. So it was just one way of doing that, right? So on the order form, they could sign up live class only or transcripts and recordings. And then when I went to do the slideshow, I realized I could do a workbook that would be really valuable. I don't really like doing slideshows, so I'm like, let's just do this workbook. And that's going to become the class. So I'll talk about how I delivered the class as a workbook, and then I'll give you some pointers on how to use Canva to create yours. I am definitely not a designer. I'm also not a Canva expert by any means, and I swear at Canva a lot because but even though it's easy, sometimes it frustrates me a little bit. But in the end, it's such a great tool to get some of those things. And I also think I've learned a couple tricks that would be useful for you. So when it came to delivering the class, I'm going to show you a screenshot of this is the class, the screenshot of the class. Looks a little strange, but what it is I created the workbook and then I printed it out and then I actually completed it myself. So sharing deeper into my own mindset things, blocks that I have about being disciplined. And I walked through the various pages of the workbook right on the screen. I PDF, I scanned it after I filled it out by hand, and I scanned it and then I shared it on the screen. So we worked through it together. I encouraged them to bring the workbook with them. And I think that worked really well for a few reasons, because first of all, it shows my workbook works. Like everyone says, oh, you get a workbook with the class, but is it useful? So I was the one who created it, and I still found it super helpful in getting myself more focused and disciplined in my goals. So I taught it over a month ago, and I'm still seeing benefits that I did this workbook and I'm good. I also think it worked because it gives people an example to work from, right? People love hearing examples and stories so they can figure out how to answer things for themselves, because sometimes on harder subjects, like if it's just, factual answers, and that's easy. But when it has to have them dig a little deeper, it's nicer for them to see like how it could work. I also think it worked because it's personal. And it gave, people a bigger glimpse into who I am. And I believe it also showed me as someone who talks the talk and walks the walk, right? And because it was sort of a personal topic, right? Because the reasons we're not disciplined is kind of, sometimes it goes into deep things that, that mindset stuff and, things that we, that have hurt us in the past that keeps us from moving forward, right? So by my sharing, I think it made a lot easier for other people to share. And we had some really good conversations during that. And most importantly, I didn't really have to plan the class further or create a presentation. Obviously, I created the workbook, so I know the subject matter, but also completing that workbook meant I gained further insight and could help my customers as we talked about it. And I mean, that's something that you might want to incorporate for yourself. Maybe it doesn't make sense for you to complete it depending on what or maybe a fictional example. If like, say you're doing that DIY kitchen, you could fill in the different things that would help them see how to do certain things. But now I'm going to show the screen and give you some Canva tips. So if you knew your material well, and you can think like a workbook creator, and that's a skill to develop, you can probably dig right in and create your workbook with Canva. Or you might, obviously you're here and we're going to listen to Yusuf talk about Chat GPT. So you might want to do a lot of your brainstorming, whether you use Chat GPT or your own noggin. You might want to do that part first. But because I'm doing the case study, we're going to look at Canva first. But all that brainstorming will give you a better handle of what you want to put in your workbook. All right, I want to make sure. So I'm under a lot of pressure here because I'm gonna do this live. I actually don't enjoy demonstrating software live, but I thought I could do it just to show you guys. So one thing I found, so I think this is going to show you some interesting tips that you may already know, but if you do not, it'll be helpful, right? So what I did was when I first started, I went and did workbook, or I can't remember, worksheet. And then I found some templates and I got started. And then I found out that I couldn't find a lot of extra sheets to add. So what I found doing was I did a US letter document, because I'm assuming that, that's the 8.5 by 11 inches. That's what I would do. And when I created that, it already knows that I like workbooks. So I think it has that on the side, but it was easier to search here. If you box yourself into worksheet or something, then you can't add pages. But what you can do here is you can, for example, you can just add that in there, and then you can add different pages. So say I want a checklist, then it's going to show me here, right? And then I could put that in there, right? And don't worry about the design just yet. They can look different. You can fix all that later. But I found that, you're just able to add all the different pieces that I might want to do, like an about me page, for example. About me. So they've got lots of different designs. I'm just going to put that in there. And then I kind of did the shell of the workbook. So you can search for table of contents, a to-do list, a quadrant worksheet, daily, monthly. But if you start with something too specific, you won't have as many options here on the left. So it helps. And then it doesn't matter, right, if it matches exactly, because you can look at, this is like a certain template style. You can apply a different color scheme and it'll update it there. And you probably want to check fonts and things like that and work through it. But basically, it's quite simple to start putting something together. Now, I don't, you Seth? We lost him. So I read about copyright. How does this, okay, can you use the free version of Canva or do you need the paid version? I have a paid version. So as far as using free, you would want to check about that. But you can see right here that like this is a pro template, and that if you have the free version, you won't be able to use that. You'll only be able to use the free options. And then there's fonts and stuff like that too, that some are pro in that. I think it's always best to, as far as copyright goes, I don't think we can give you really good advice on that, but do read the terms. Canvas terms are quite liberal, but do familiarize yourself with them so that you know how you can use them. All right. How does Canva compare with PowerPoint? I love using PowerPoint as a design tool myself. I actually find it easier to use than Canva in order to move things around. But the thing about Canva is you have the templates to work from and the elements. You've got fancier elements. I think PowerPoint has kind of limited stuff. But if you have purchased like a PowerPoint template, we have like journal templates and things like that. Like if you're working with something like that, you can certainly work with it and choose your chosen tool. This is not to say you should use Canva at all. It's just
and sometimes
you
can upload those documents onto Canva, and Canva's will be able to pick up the different parts, and then you can move them around. And sometimes it doesn't. It's just you're gonna have to try and test out and see what works and what doesn't.
Yeah. Definitely not a Canva lesson, as you can say, but I just wanted to show you like just how simple it is to sort of build what you want from the templates, and then you can change colors and fonts and things like that after. Because really, when you download our PDF version, you'll see that's what we did. We did build it from a bunch of different templates that you probably can't recognize anymore. And then we made it into this common theme with the colors, with those pretty flowers. I saw I think it was Linda said she likes that. It's her colors. So. But if it's not your thing, right, you could totally change it.
If you want to watch the entire video, then click here. And if you want to watch another short clip from the same video, then click here.